Talk Show. Recorded live.
Welcome to Freedom Fighters for America Radio. We'll begin the Tom Hennigan Stu Webb Intel Hour momentarily. But first, a message from our ex-murdered president by the NWO, New World Order, John F. Kennedy.
Ladies and gentlemen, the very word secrecy is repugnant in a free and open society. And we are, as a people, inherently and historically opposed to secret societies, to secret oaths, and to secret proceedings. For we are opposed around the world by a monolithic and ruthless conspiracy that relies primarily on covert means for expanding its sphere of influence, on infiltration instead of invasion, on subversion instead of elections, on intimidation instead of free choice. It is a system which has conscripted vast human and material resources into the building of a tightly knit, highly efficient machine that combines military, diplomatic, intelligence, economic, scientific, and political operations. Its preparations are concealed, not published. Its mistakes are buried, not headlined. Its dissenters are silenced, not praised. No expenditure is questioned, no secret is revealed. That is why the Athenian lawmaker Solon decreed it a crime for any citizen to shrink from controversy. I am asking your help in the tremendous task of informing and alerting the American people, confident that with your help, man will be what he was born to be, free and independent.
Welcome tonight to the Tom Hennigan Stu Webb Intel Hour. And now, here's Tom and Stu.
Today's Wednesday, September the 23rd, 2009. This is Stu Webb, and I have on with me Tom Hennigan. How are you, Tom?
Well, I'm doing good, Stu. I want to say hello to all our loyal listeners out there as we bring you the weekly intelligence report on what's going on in the occupied United States. I say that because financially, operationally, this country is under occupation, has been for some time now, and it's clear to me that there's only one way to remove the occupier. As we continuing bring you these briefings, we stated very specifically, is to identify the enemy and annihilate it. Tonight, Stu, I have to bring you some very serious, very negative news, then bring it to our listeners. I received reports this morning that a series of what is called dirty bombs containing radioactive materials are now basically loose on American soil and are being used to blackmail the government that is not compromised. There's a very small element that is not compromised. Mainly blackmail the US military, which now believes they have no choice but to move forward and arrest this current government, including members of the previous government, for treason of unspeakable proportions against the American people. Now, these dirty bombs are part of an elaborate, alleged al-Qaeda network, which is linked to the Pakistani SSI and the Israeli Mossad, as well as the East German DVD. That's the Pakistani ISI. This is part of the overall Bush-Clinton True Colors assassination teams and Black Ops teams that had their formation and beginnings in Bosnia during the late 1990s. If you recall that point, that's where the alleged al-Qaeda was used, as I mentioned on previous programs, to assassinate Christian Serbian leaders who were opposed to the Islamic element that we were supporting during the Bosnian War.
The Gary Bestink.
Right. A lot of this is linked to the Halliburton Corporation. Of course, it was the Halliburton Corporation under Dick Cheney that was then given the contract to rebuild Bosnia by the Clintons, Bill and Hillary, the two sociopaths, who are still basically mentally ill. Now, some of the individuals I can mention, including Daddy Bush, a wife of a James G. Cummings, a former neo-Nazi linked to George Herbert Walker Bush, are part of this command and control operation, as well as a Gwendolyn Waymark out of Las Vegas, Nevada, FBI Division Number 5. FBI Division Number 5 out of Denver, Colorado, has enabled these terrorists, basically individuals that are being used right now by the current government and by representatives of the occupation of this country to basically control it, blackmail it, and if necessary, attack it.
So Division Number 5, Denver, is probably Mark Holslaw then.
Exactly.
Okay.
Now, it's important to remember that these arrests in New York City deal with individuals that have nothing to do with any terrorist plot. These are individuals that were accused of lying to the FBI about individuals that they may have come in contact with that were linked to this current operation. Now, there has been a group of individuals tied to the Bush family, to this James G. Cummings, that have for a long time, along with an individual by the name of Cornelius Vanderstar, who served during World War II in the Secret Office of Strategic Services, and he's not known to many people. They had a corporation out of China called the American Asiatic Underwriters. It was an insurance company which is tied to the known AIG company the American people were forced to bail out. And, of course, what is really fascinating about this guy, Mr. Starr, is that his nephew, Stu, is none other than Kenneth Starr. How do you like that? The alleged independent counsel.
Who is also tied to where AIG Greenberg now sits on the board of directors of Star International, or whatever the name of it is.
Right. Now they are responsible.
AIG subsidiary.
Right, which today had one of its biggest trading days in history, AIG stock. And that last time we saw that type of trading in AIG stock was pre-9/11. Now, you know I'm familiar with that, given my knowledge of the brokerage industry. So I want to alert everyone tonight to the possibility, at least, that we are soon going to be under attack by the, let's use the word, New World Order group. They have had for a long time a devious, satanistic plan to socialize this country, Nazify the country. In fact, the Nazification of the United States, it was called Operation Paperclip. You're familiar with that, aren't you, Stu?
Yes, yes. The media.
Destroy the Constitution, use black ops, alleged threats from the outside to scare the American people so they surrender their rights, surrender their guns, surrender their basically birthright to be American citizens. Now, this group is currently being opposed, though, by individuals in naval intelligence and the U.S. military, who have sworn to eradicate these people by the beginning of October. Now, Andrea Mitchell gave it away today, and this is a very devious, cunning, criminal bitch, I'll use that word.
Mrs. Federal Reserve herself.
When she gets on the air and says to a former Clinton-era Secretary of State, I believe his name is Cohen, Bill Cohen, elements of the military now are opposing Obama on Afghanistan. Well, that's not the case. The elements of the military are opposing Obama and the previous criminal regime based on the evidence they have gathered now through the office of the